Hi, I'm Suzanne, and this is Danielle, and we're with Clever Yoga. We're going to show you a 10-minute yoga sequence using our yoga wheels. So Danielle is going to start using one of our two yoga wheels. So we have a medium and a large size. She's just going to start in a nice extended child's pose. So the wheel is extended out towards the front of the mat, and she's feeling a nice stretch in her shoulders, her arms, all the way through her fingertips. The hips are extending towards the heels. The belly is pulling in towards the spine. And from here, she'll bring the wheel close to her body and taking the wheel behind her back, coming into a shoulder rinse. So kind of taking the traditional shoulder rinse and using the wheel. Chest is extending out, and then the crown of the head comes down onto the mat, extending the wheel out in front of the body. So you're really feeling a deep stretch in the front of the shoulders, the chest, not putting a lot of weight into the crown of the head. The hips are extending up towards the sky. And then coming out, bringing the wheel back behind you, and then shifting into a high plank. So bringing the wheel directly under the belly, coming into high plank, shoulders under the wrists, legs extending back behind you. So just kind of coming into your strength from here and then extending into a spinal balance. So left leg extends up and right arm extends forward, flexing the left toes. And coming into a nice breath and then extending your right leg behind you. Thumb is down, extending, and then reaching for the left the left foot, extending the toes up towards the sky. So pressing the belly into the wheel, pressing the left palm deeply into the mat. And then go ahead and release that. Reach the right arm forward, switch sides. So you just have to do a little bit of some maneuvering with the wheel. The wheel can move pretty easily, so don't be afraid to make some minor adjustments. And Danielle's just reaching into the spinal balance, other side. And then extending left arm back behind, reaching for the outside of the left foot. And then extending the foot up to the sky, feeling that stretch in the front of the left shoulder. Gaze is down. And coming back out of that, and reaching and extending into downward facing dog. So a little bit of a transition, reaching from here, grabbing onto the medium size wheel. We're setting up for crescent lunge. So this is where balance comes into play. Danielle does this nice and gracefully. So the left knee directly over the left ankle. So the right shin is resting on the wheel. Again, it's going to take a little bit of time to get into this posture. So reaching the arms over the head and just moving slowly into this pose. It's a real challenging posture. And from here, coming into the half Hanuman pose. So extending the wheel out in front of the body, taking the right calf onto the wheel. So depending on how flexible you are in this posture, using blocks can be a nice prop and a little support for the body. And then just kind of sinking in. So, using your breath, using a little bit of gravity to help you to move. And Danielle's kind of rocking forward to test out the flexibility. So she's feeling the stretch in the back of the right hamstring and even into the front of the left thigh, the left hip flexor area. And then shifting. So she's making that transition into the other side. Coming into crescent lunge. So again, resting the top of the left shin on the wheel. Right foot comes forward, the sole of the right foot down onto the mat. So bringing the right knee directly over the ankle, arms extend up, belly pulls into the spine. It's a really, really nice activation. All the muscles, and even gazing up, coming into a nice crescent lunge. And then shifting the wheel forward for that half Hanuman or half split, so working into the half split extension. Left calf on the wheel and right knee pressing into the earth, top of the right foot down, blocks supporting the arms, and rocking forward, so feeling that deepening as she rocks forward, more stretch in the front of the thigh and back of the left thigh, the hamstring muscles. And coming out of this posture nice and slowly, coming into Navasana, or a little bit of core work, so making that transition, so working into abdominal area. The wheel can be a good prop for this, so just centering yourself on the wheel, bending the knees. The wheel extends up overhead, and then Danielle has a nice kind of movement and flow, working the obliques, bringing the wheel out to the right, up to the sky, and then over to the left. So nice core flow. So staying nice and focused, breathing in and out by the nose, activating the feet. And from here, nice and slowly, coming out of that core work and setting up for some back bending. So we often think of the yoga wheel working with our back bending. So Danielle is going to use the medium wheel. She can decide either one. So starting with a bridge pose, modified bridge pose. Yeah, and there's a lot of different ways. So she's kind of trying to think of how to get into it. So there's multiple ways to get into it. And this is the way that she'd like to today. So don't think you have to do it one way or the other. And then just, so the wheel is your support for your spine. And you can move nice and easily, like just kind of allowing the wheel to curve into the spine. And you're just draping your body, allowing your body to sink into the weight. So it's a great way to open up the front of the body, the whole abdominal area, lifting the heels up, yeah, lifting one leg up at a time. And slowly coming out of that. And then she's going to make that transition into a forearm wheel, using the bigger wheel, which feels good for her. So it's nice to have both of the wheels handy. The bigger wheel is going to give you a little more intensity into your posture. So it's higher as well. So coming into more of the traditional wheels, the forearm wheel is going to give you a little more of an extension in the spine. And even feeling that stretch into the tricep muscles. Extending the legs forward, a lot more intensity. So it's a beautiful posture, a beautiful prop to use to deepen your back bends. And then from here, she's going to go into a nice transition into plow pose. So just kind of rolling her body backwards. So extending the legs up in the air, and then bringing the legs over the body, and then tops of the feet onto the mat. And you can either keep the wheel as is, you can hold on to the wheel if it feels like it's kind of moving around. You know, it's going to be different every time you use it. So we have the padding on the outside and the inside of the wheel, so it's really supportive for gripping. And slowly coming back out of the plow pose, and then just setting up into the final rest for the sequence, Savasana. And Danielle's going to use some props to bring a little bit more of a chest opening. So the larger wheel is nice to have under the calves to lift up the legs a little higher, and then she's going to use the block, one block under her chest and one block under her head to open up. It's kind of right between the shoulder blades, the long side of the block, and then the other block is under the head and supporting her. And this allows for just a wonderful softening of the body, nice rest, and then your breath becomes nice and slow and moderate. And just allow yourself at least a few minutes in your Savasana. And that completes our intermediate sequence for the yoga wheel.